Close the door. Not the one behind you, the one inside you. The door you don't even realize you've left cracked open. Do it now. Because what you're about to feel, not hear, will slip into that space if you don't. It's not a story. Not really. It's more like residue. Something that clings to you once you've brushed against it. Something no shower can wash off. You ever walk into a place and feel a chill crawl up your spine before anything actually happens? That hush, like the air itself is holding its breath, watching you. That's what this is. Except now, the air isn't just watching. It remembers. It knows. And it's been waiting for someone like you to look too long. Because you didn't mean to click on this, did you? Not really. It felt like your hand moved before you made a decision. Like your curiosity wasn't entirely yours. Like something whispered your name, real soft, just once, from behind your screen. And your body listened before your mind caught. That's how it started for us, too. There was a house at the edge of Eastbrook, Maryland. Ordinary, colonial style, red door, always a wreath hanging, even in July. People passed it every day, going to work, dropping off kids, taking evening strolls with earbuds in and heads down. No one ever noticed the camera mounted above the porch light, its little red eye glowing, faintly even at noon. No one ever thought about the delivery guy who showed up every Thursday at 2:47 p.m. Rain or shine, never a minute early, never a second late, and definitely, absolutely, no one ever asked his name. They just laughed. Not cruelly at first, not in the beginning. You know that kind of laugh, the awkward chuckle when someone's too quiet, the smirk when someone dresses a little different, walks with a rhythm that doesn't quite fit the suburban symphony. They laughed the way you laugh when you're pretending you're not afraid. Like the laughter is a shield against something that doesn't make sense. A 6'4" black man, bald head gleaming like polished obsidian, delivering Amazon packages in pressed slacks and leather dress shoes. Every week, same route, same time, like a ritual. He never used the truck's horn, never took shortcuts across the lawn, always placed each package gently by the door like it was something sacred, never spoke a word, except to one person. Once, and after that she disappeared. Her name was Claire Hendricks, retired third-grade teacher, lived alone, loved hummingbird feeders and crosswords and writing long letters by hand to people she hadn't seen in decades. She had a smile that made strangers feel like they'd forgotten something important. On July the 6th, she opened her front door before the bell rang, as if she already knew he was coming. Neighbors said they saw her lean forward, whisper something into his ear, something no one else could hear. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He simply nodded, turned, and walked away. Claire never opened her curtains again. That evening, her porch light flickered out and never came back on. By morning, her mailbox was stuffed with untouched letters, her car still parked neatly in the driveway, but no sign of her inside. Not a single thing out of place. Except for the kitchen clock, it was running backward. You think that's the strange part? You haven't even noticed the thing that really matters. Check the time right now, look at the minute hand, then come back. Because this story, it doesn't follow yours. We didn't notice the shift at first. Who would? When time begins to fold, it doesn't scream, it sighs. Street signs changed font, dog barks echoed twice. Children forgot names of colors. And always, at 2:47 p.m., a sleek black van with no license plate drifted down the street, engine humming like a lullaby made of static. Out stepped the delivery man. Same pressed slacks, same shoes, same expressionless calm. But this time, people began to hide behind curtains. The laughter stopped. One afternoon, David Mercer, head of the HOA, a man with a tucked-in polo and a mouth, always tight with opinions, decided enough was enough. He waited on his front steps, arms folded like a judgment. As the delivery man approached, David stood and said, "You can't keep showing up here like this. We've filed reports. There's no record of you even working for Amazon. What are you doing here?" The man said nothing. David stepped forward, puffing his chest. We know who lives in this neighborhood. You don't belong here. The man blinked once, not slowly, not dramatically, just once. And then he smiled. Only David saw it, no one else. But that was the last time anyone saw David Mercer. His car remained in the driveway. His porch lights blinked in Morse code patterns that no one could decipher. But inside his house, his dog sat quietly by the door every Thursday, ears perked, eyes fixed, waiting for something. And in the weeks that followed, more subtle wrongness leaked through the edges. Streetlights flickering in daylight, music that only played on radios without power. A newborn, 3 houses down, spoke its first word, Elijah. The parents didn't know anyone named Elijah. Neither did anyone on the block, until someone remembered the name carved into the wood at the bottom of Claire Hendricks's old mailbox. It had been sanded over, painted, buried beneath years of weather, but it was there. E. Ward. A name that hadn't been spoken in over a century. The name of a preacher who vanished in 1922 after claiming he'd seen the face of God and couldn't unsee it. You think you've got this figured out, don't you? You're building theories, stitching clues together, thinking maybe the man is a ghost, a messenger, an angel, a curse. That maybe he's not real. That maybe this isn't real. But what if the truth is simpler? What if the only thing that matters is the laughter, because it never echoed right? Every time someone laughed at him, something in the world tilted. A bird flew backward. A shadow moved before the body. A child drew spirals that turned into maps when held up to the moonlight. The neighborhood tried to forget, tried to block him out. Cameras stopped recording during his visits. Ring doorbells froze. Data was corrupted in 4K, not deleted, rewritten. In one video, he stands in front of a house he never visited. Lips moving, whispering something to the lens. No sound, just pixels unraveling. Then came the letter, slipped into every mailbox. No return address, no postage. Just 7 words, typed on thick parchment. He remembers more than you ever forgot. By now, you're probably wondering if you've seen him. Maybe you passed him on your street. Maybe you laughed, once, nervously. Maybe not at him, but near him. It's enough. He doesn't forget. He doesn't punish, he doesn't rage, he waits, and when he smiles again, it will be for you. But don't worry, you've still got time, unless, wait. What's that sound behind you, like a box being placed softly, very softly, at your door? Do not open it, not yet. It's still there. The sound. Not loud, but persistent, like fingers brushing across cardboard, like the weight of something left behind, deliberately, but not by human hands. You tell yourself it's just a package. Maybe the wind knocked it over. Maybe you imagined it. You want to believe that. You need to believe that. But the silence now, it's not normal silence. It's swollen, pressurized, like the moment. Before a storm, when everything listens, your chest tightens, not from fear, from recognition. Because deep down you know this isn't the first time. You try to remember if you've heard that sound before. But memory is slippery now. You can recall your childhood address, the feel of your mother's hand, the song that used to play in your dad's truck, but something's missing in between, like someone carved away hours, even days, and filled the gaps with static. You grab your phone to check the time, but the screen glitches, only for a second, a flicker. But in that instant you see a reflection behind you, tall, still, smiling. When you whip around, the room is empty. Your heart's beating fast, but not fast enough to drown out the soft knock at your door. You stare at the door like it might speak. Like maybe it's been trying to all this time. And for some reason, without understanding why, you whisper, Elijah. You don't even know where that name came from. It just came. The knock stops, then silence again. But this time it's thinner, paper thin. Like reality is stretched taut and ready to rip if you press against it. You sit down on the floor, back against the wall, arms around your knees, and you try to breathe slow. Something about the name unsettled you, not Because it felt foreign, but because it didn't. It was yours, or it had been once. Then the voice crackles through your Bluetooth speaker. Low, gravel thick, the kind of voice that feels remembered more than heard. Do you remember what you forgot? You stumble to your feet. The speaker isn't even on. You never connected. Your phone. You grab it and open the voice memos app without thinking, and there it is. A new file, no title. Just a timestamp from yesterday. You don't recall recording anything. Hands shaking, you hit play. The audio starts with silence. Then footsteps. Yours. You recognize the rhythm. You hear your own breath, the muffled thump of your heartbeat against the phone mic. You whisper. Something too quiet to make out, but the cadence is familiar. Then, suddenly, another voice joins in. Right next to yours, overlapping. We warned you not to laugh. You freeze. The voice is yours, but not. It's deeper. A version of you that smokes guilt and chews through dreams. You delete the file. You check the trash folder. It's not there. And for a moment, the room tilts just a little. The corners bend inward like heat waves. You smell smoke, but there's no fire. No light, just a scent, sharp and old like burnt paper and cedar wood. That's when the second character enters. Through the back door, the one you never use. The one you're sure you locked. He's older. Thin frame, wild gray beard, but eyes too clear, too present. He walks in like he's been here before, like he owns it. He holds a photo. Your photo. From your high school graduation. Except you're, not alone in it. There's someone next to you, tall, black, dressed in pressed slacks and leather shoes. The same man, but you don't remember him being there. That photo was just you. You're sure of it. The man, the intruder, smiles with the exhaustion of someone who's fought too many battles with things no one else believes in. Do you know what today is? He asks, voice dry and cracking like parchment. It's Thursday, 2:47 p.m. You stare, that can't be right. It was evening, dark outside. You check your phone, 47 p.m. No, you whisper. That's not possible. He doesn't argue. He walks over to your wall clock. The hands are moving backward, not fast, just steady, rewinding. You let it in, he says, when you opened the file, when you spoke his name. Who are you? You ask, but he just laughs. And something about that laugh makes your stomach lurch. Because it's the first time you've heard someone laugh since the story began. Since Claire vanished. Since David stopped speaking. And now it's in your house. You want to demand answers, but something about him makes you doubt he even knows the truth. His clothes are mismatched, one sock missing. He blinks out of rhythm. When he speaks, sometimes the words don't match the movement of his mouth, like old footage and a bad dub. I've been trying to remember for years, he says. Why it chose me, why it follows us. But the truth is, it's not following anyone. It's waiting. It's always waiting for people like you, curious people. People who see the wrong things at the right time. He leans closer. People who laugh when they shouldn't. You back away, but he presses the photo into your hand. You look again. The background, your street, is wrong. Trees that don't exist. Houses that don't belong. The version of you in the picture looks older, tired, different. What is this? You whisper. Proof, he replies, of what they don't want you to remember. And in the photo, right in the background, is the red door of Claire's house. But she's standing outside it, smiling, alive, holding a baby. You turn to ask him more, but the man is gone. No sound, no door opening, just absence. Like he was edited out. And now your phone is vibrating again, a new file. This one's titled Final Delivery. But when you go to delete it, your finger hesitates. Because you want to know, don't you? Just one listen. What's the worst that could happen, unless you already listened once, and that's what made you forget the first time. The morning sun filtered through the blinds with a soft, almost apologetic glow, like it knew the weight it was about to lift. Or so you thought. You sat at the kitchen table, the photo still heavy in your hands. its edges curling slightly as if the paper itself breathed beneath your fingers. For a fleeting moment, the nightmare seemed to retreat, as if you'd uncovered a thread to pull, a map through the fog. The man with the wild beard, the whispers in the voice memo, the vanishing neighbors. It all began to align with something tangible. You found yourself scouring the public records, following forgotten leads in dusty archives online, until finally you stumbled upon an old newspaper clipping buried in the Maryland Historical Society's digital vault. A story about a family who disappeared on a July 6, 1922, the same date Claire vanished. The family name, Ward, Elijah Ward, the preacher who supposedly saw something no one else could. The headline was cryptic: Ward family missing after night of strange lights. The article detailed their last known whereabouts, an Eastbrook home, just a few blocks from where you live now. The description of the house was eerie in its familiarity, matching Claire's red-doored colonial down to the faded lilac bushes in the front yard. The story was filled with the usual tragic mystery tropes: townsfolk afraid to speak, strange sounds heard at night, a clock that stopped ticking the moment the family vanished, and whispers of watchers that no one dared name. You read, heart pounding as the article mentioned the local sheriff's report, an official dry piece that noted a series of phone calls made by a man describing a shadowed figure delivering parcels in silence at exactly 2:47 p.m. The same time the van passed your street every week. The report was filed under unexplained, buried beneath years of paperwork. You sat back and exhaled, feeling a surreal calm. It was there. The hidden truth. The memory glitch was real, but it had a name, a history, a place in time. You were not crazy. They lied to you. Someone, something had been watching, waiting, echoing through time like a bad dream passed down. Relief flooded your chest, sweet and dangerous, and for a moment you thought the story was over. The mystery uncovered, but then, as if sensing your fragile victory, the room shifted again. That morning light no longer warmed you. It was colder, thinner. You glanced down at the photo once more, and that's when you saw it. A tiny, almost imperceptible detail you hadn't noticed before. In the corner of the picture, barely visible behind the lilac bushes, a second shadow stood, taller than the delivery man but more distorted, its edges blurred and wavering like smoke caught in a camera lens. And it was staring directly at the camera, at you. No smile, no nod, just silence and something far worse. Intent. The air thickened. You blinked, and the room grew darker. The photo slipped from your grasp, fluttering to the floor like a dead leaf. You tried to tell yourself it was just a trick of the light, a stain on the paper, but the pit in your stomach told a different story. Something had been here before, long before you. Something that didn't just watch or wait, it possessed. It seeped into the cracks of your mind, erasing moments, bending memories, making you question what was real and what wasn't. You thought of your childhood again, the half-remembered nightmares where you ran through empty streets chased by a faceless shadow. The times your parents told you stories that didn't quite add up, stories they swore they never told you. The nights you woke up gasping for breath, convinced you heard whispers through the walls. It all came rushing back, in fragments like static-filled radio signals trying to make sense of an ancient language. Then the doorbell rang. Sharp, insistent, impossible to ignore. You moved to the door, heart hammering with a new kind of dread. Through the peephole there was no one, no package, just darkness, thick and pulsing, like a wound opened in the fabric of the neighborhood itself. You opened the door. Nothing. But as you closed it, a small slip of paper floated to the floor at your feet. You picked it up and read, your hands trembling. You've been here before. You just forgot. Suddenly, the entire story collapsed in on itself. The timeline unraveled. Your memories, the photos, the voice memos, they weren't just clues, they were warnings. The past and present blurred into one continuous loop of forgetting and remembering, a cycle of denial no one had broken. You realize now that this isn't just a mystery to solve. It's a prison you've been living inside, and the key has always been hidden in plain sight. But the moment you think you've escaped, you're pushed back deeper into the labyrinth. The question isn't whether the delivery man is real, it's who is watching you, and how long they've been waiting for you to notice. And with that, you understand. Everything you thought you knew must be seen again. Every detail, every whisper, every shadow. Because the truth behind what no one tells you isn't a secret at all, it's a trap, and you're already caught. Go back. Watch it all again. This time, pay attention. Because the story isn't finished. Not yet. You're not alone. That much becomes clear the moment the screen flickers. Not in your house, but somewhere else. Somewhere colder, dimmer, where faces blur and voices drift just beneath the surface of hearing. They've been watching too. Not from the shadows of your street or the corners of your memory, but from behind locked doors, behind cracked screens, behind layers of silence crafted, carefully to bury what no one was supposed to find. And now something has cracked that silence open. Last night, or maybe it was the night before, time has begun to bleed. You saw it. A message, hidden in static, just for you. It wasn't written with words but with symbols, ancient and unsettling, etched into the flickering of a street lamp outside your window, reflected briefly on your phone's cracked screen. Those shapes felt familiar, like an echo of a dream you forgot but always knew you'd remember. A circle broken by 3 lines, repeated in a rhythm so subtle most would miss it, but you caught it, and something deep inside your chest clenched with the weight of recognition. You've heard whispers of others, people who talk in hushed forums about shared visions, cryptic dreams of a figure cloaked in twilight, always watching, always waiting. They're scattered, isolated, yet linked by these patterns no one outside the circle can decode. You begin to notice strange things in your own life, brief flashes of faces in crowds that vanish when you look again, text messages you swear you never received but now appear in your inbox, timestamps mismatched by minutes or hours, memories that don't belong to you but that you feel you should have. You check your phone obsessively, noticing the subtle glitches, the tiny glitches in audio recordings you made yourself, as if reality is peeling back, revealing the gears grinding underneath. And then there's him, the observer. A figure so elusive he might be imagined, or worse, a fragment of your own fractured mind made flesh. He appears in your dreams like a flicker of film caught between frames, always watching, never speaking directly. But in those fleeting moments, his eyes hold the cold clarity of someone who sees everything, someone who knows the layers beneath layers that no one else dares to touch. He's the only one who might be telling the truth, though truth itself is a slippery thing, shifting under the weight of fear and time. You find a new video file on your phone today. No title, no metadata, just grainy, shaky footage of a desolate room, walls cracked and peeling. In the corner, a faint scrawl on the wall, a symbol, one you now recognize from the street lamp. The observer's voice, distorted but unmistakable, speaks softly. You were right all along. This is what they never wanted you to see. The camera pans slowly, revealing a pile of old VHS tapes, their labels yellowed and unreadable, and then cuts abruptly. You feel your breath catch, knowing that somewhere, out there, someone is living this too. Someone caught in the same web, unraveling the same threads, fighting the same invisible force. A force that doesn't just erase memories or distort time, it consumes identity, reshapes reality, and watches your every move, waiting to decide who gets to remember and who gets lost. What the government never released, the files they shredded, the disappearances they never explained, all pieces of a puzzle too dangerous to assemble. But now, the pieces are shifting, fitting together, in a pattern only the few can see. And you're becoming part of it, whether you like it or not. The walls around you seem thinner, the air heavier. You sense eyes behind the glass of your windows, unseen watchers who vanish when confronted, leaving only a lingering dread. Your reflection in the mirror hesitates, flickers, and for a heartbeat, you see not yourself but the observer, calm, knowing, waiting. Your phone buzzes again. Another message. This time, words appear on the screen, typed slowly, deliberately. We see you. We've been waiting. This is just the beginning. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice urges you forward, even as terror curls in your gut. The story is no longer yours alone. It never was. And now, with every glance over your shoulder, every shadow that lingers too long, every silence that screams, you realize you're standing on the edge of something far larger, something older than memory, deeper than fear, and utterly impossible to ignore. Because they're watching, and they always have been. The room felt impossibly still, as if the very air had thickened into a weight you couldn't lift. You sat alone, the fragments of everything you'd uncovered swirling around you like ghosts, memories, symbols, voices, shadows, all demanding answers you weren't sure you wanted to hear. Because now the question wasn't what happened. No, that was a puzzle piece long broken and scattered. The real question was why. Why had this darkness seeped into your life, tangled itself into your mind, and refused to let go? What cruel design had stitched this tapestry of fear and forgetting, threading through generations, waiting patiently for you to pull at its loose ends? You remember then, with a sudden shattering clarity, a confession you'd buried deep within yourself, the moment you stopped fighting the shadows and started hiding from them. You realize the truth is less about the world outside, and more about the fragility inside. That the greatest horror might not be some unseen watcher lurking just beyond perception, but the part of you that's willing to surrender, to forget, to become another ghost in the endless cycle. And in that raw vulnerability, you feel it, a choice unfolding before you like a knife's edge, to let the truth destroy you, to dissolve into the unknown and never come back, or to hold onto the shards of your identity, to wrestle the darkness into something human, imperfect and real. It's a terrifying awakening, like surfacing from a dream where your own face is a stranger's, where the lines between reality and nightmare dissolve, and you are left to grapple with the stark question, what does it mean to be truly awake? There is no answer waiting for you, only the weight of the question itself. The answer might save you, or it might be your undoing. But it demands to be faced. And now, as you sit there, heart pounding, breath shallow, you understand that this story is no longer about discovery. It's about survival. About reclaiming your mind, your memories, your very self, from the endless night of forgetting. And as the silence stretches, thick and infinite, a final thought slips through, fragile but unstoppable, a whisper that lingers long after the screen goes dark. In the end, the deepest truth is this: sometimes the hardest part of waking up is realizing you were never truly asleep. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for stories you were never meant to hear. Until next time, remember, some truths don't want to be found.